Talking about that man-made consciousness. Ready to live good? Are you ready to reach that ground? Are you ready to honor yourself? Take that deep breath with me, family. And tune into my real life radio show. Heart to Heart Healthy Living. You know how we do it. Take that deep, deep breath. Time to set back. It's the Conscious Self Health Care Hour. Yes. Make you feel real good. I love coming onto my radio show. I get so excited. My body feels so good. Even if I'm only talking to myself, it's that time for me to take that moment to tune into myself. Now, you tune into Heart to Heart Healthy Living, my real life radio show. But family community, it's about tuning into yourself. That inner self, that invisible soul of your soul. You got to thank the power that be. It's time to tune into yourself. So yes, I share information with you from my realm of understanding, Conscious Self Healthcare Hour. And it's a time for you to sit back and ask yourself, how am I caring for myself? How am I taking care of my home, my being, my environment, my connection, my association with people, and asking the ultimate question. Am I living from a man-made mindset of human consciousness? And that word is thrown around so much that we don't even know what consciousness is anymore. But I'm telling you, it's higher than a man-made thought. So if you're dealing with life from your man-made thought of consciousness, you might be missing the mark. And the mark is only misinformation or miseducation. And you might want to self-correct if you're giving your power over to anyone else. And so, thank you very much for tuning in. You know how we do it. Take that deep, deep breath with me. Make them noises that feel good in the body. The body loves sound. The body loves sound, energy, and motion. It feels good. Sound, vibration, the deep breath. Even the breath is a sound. The breath is emotions. The breath has a feeling. And the breath does so much for the human body. So it's time for you to tune into yourself. I want to thank you once again for tuning into my real life radio show, Heart to Heart Healthy Living, and sharing this radio show with a friend. And if you forgot, you still got time. Go on over and call your friend and tell them to tune into Heart to Heart Healthy Living. If they're sitting back, they're in a diseased state of mind, a diseased state of consciousness, and you've been trying to share with them some information, they just don't want to hear it, maybe they might want to hear it now because you planted those seeds. And sometimes it just takes somebody else to help that seed begin to grow. Pull the weeds away. Stop fighting the person that's been telling them something good, and they hear from someone else. But remember, you planted the seed, so you can honor yourself. So sit back and take that deep breath. I'm Karen Khadijah Davis-Foulks, affectionately known as Dr. K. I'm a native Washingtonian, founder of the Arc of Self-Healing and Self-Help. That's health education for longevity and peace. This organization was established in 1997, a health wellness maintenance organization for disease prevention. I'm not a licensed medical doctor. Karen is a certified lymphologist, registered lymphologist, a pioneering bioenergetic, bio-informational wellness specialist, which means that I take care of myself and I give you enough information to allow you to take care of yourself as well. Because I share information from the non-circular science of quantum health and healing to assist all with making conscious self-health care moves. So you're sitting back. This is a conscious self-health care hour, and we're talking about mental observation view is essential for your success. So you are the one. You are observing your life. You are stepping. You know how you saw that movie Cocoon, and the people stepped out of the human body flesh, and the light came up. And so you want to do that in your mind's eye, and you want to step out and you want to look back at your human life and see just how you've been treating yourself and what you're giving your power over to, who you're giving your power to, and are you truly in line with that? And is that where you want to really be? So if you want to reach higher grounds, if you want to go higher, you got to recognize where you are, what's been your driving force, and do you need to shift from that understanding? That's what we're talking about here today. And I like to say, because we are the individualized expression of this universal principle of life, that I am the one and only conscious self-healthcare educator. And when you tune into that frequency, you will find out that you are the one and only conscious self-health educator for yourself. That means nobody can come in and shift you, persuade you to follow their beliefs, their understanding, the way they see life, that you value yourself enough to say, that sounds pretty good, but let me see if that's going to help me in the long run. Because if it doesn't come from you, your state of consciousness, I guarantee you 100% you won't keep it. And anybody that comes in your life with a slick talk, that gives you some data that make you think that that is the correct data, and then you find out from somebody else that it's not the correct data, you would just keep going around in circles until you work from your own divine understanding and know who you are. So I'm the one and only conscious self-healthcare educator. I help you understand what your body's symptoms are saying. And believe me, 100%, this information will rejuvenate your thoughts to live a stress. And when you're stress-free, I guarantee you, you will be disease-free. Life. And how do we do that? With those conscious self-health care moves. Mental observation view is essential for success. So what is going to be the things and tools you use to anchor yourself in that? So how can I help you slay your healthcare fears? Remember, we have already defined fears on this show. It's either false, education, accepted as reality, because science giveth and science taketh. One year and century this is true, the next year and century is not true. So that's why we have to know thyself and understand those words, truly what they mean, and knowing thyself and understanding thyself and how you fit here in this dimension, this realm, this place of planet Earth. So take a deep, deep breath. Or could it be false evidence appearing real? That information that you get from your healthcare practitioners, that information that you get from the Western doctors, that information that you get when you Google, when you talk to other people, when you search, how true is it? How right is it? If it's not truly vibrating with you from your soul, that inner soul of your soul, then it might just be from a man-made mindset of human consciousness, which can be shifted at any time. But once you get a hold on it and get a handle to it, I guarantee you 100% that energy that's frozen, waiting for resurrection from you to flow with ease, to move fluidly through the pipes of your body. Just like the water moves freely in your homes. If your pipe becomes clogged, that doesn't mean that the water is not there. It means that it can't get through. It means that you got to do something to evacuate that stagnation, to move that blockage so that water can flow. We work on everything in the body, but remember, it is those delivery systems that allows everything to work and harmoniously through your body. And that is the blood system, and that is the lymphatic system. That is the red blood system and the white blood system. They are partners. They are one. Are you ready to tune into yourself and get in balance? Take that deep, deep breath and relax. So yes, thank you for tuning in. And once again, sharing this radio show with a friend. Take a lot of deep breaths because it makes the body feel good. And when you focus on an area of your body that feels tense, and even if it doesn't feel tense, that when you take that deep breath and you start from the foot, which is anchored into the earth, and you work that breath all the way up in your mind's eye, and you cover every tissue, every organ, all the systems. And if you know that you have something that you've been holding on to and they told you that your kneecap is hurting, that your hip is hurting, that your legs are hurting, that your feet is not working, then you want to take a little moment and just breathe into that area of your body. And just breathe into that area of your body until you begin to feel some tingling. How often do you take a moment to sit down and just feel your body? If you haven't done that, stop feeling the pain and feel your body. And I guarantee you that the body will flow, the pain will cease. And if you keep in that state of understanding, that pain will alleviate itself from you. So once again, this is the Conscious Self-Healthcare Hour. Take that deep breath. Today is Tuesday, October the 25th, 2016. Woo! Lord, it's a true beginning. And I think I've been on Inner Light Radio for what? I don't know, 5-6 years now. And I changed it to My Real Life Radio Show because my life made a shift in 2014. Even though I recognized the shift in 2012, it really made the shift in 2014 when my mother made her transition and family, community, and friends wanted to put my life on display. So I said the best person to put my life on display was me because I'm not ashamed of anything that I do in my life because it's through consciousness and not of a man-made mindset of consciousness that I do the things that I do. And so if anybody going to talk about my life, it's going to be me because I 100% honor myself and my choices, who I am. Because you know why? I honor my parents. I honor what they taught me. I honor how they raised me to be an independent, critical thinker and to take care of my own life without them. So take a deep breath. Today's show, living with sickness. And there's a lot of people living with all kinds of sickness today. We want to help you raise your vibration from sickness. We want you to change that word, sickness and diseases, to calling it cellular malfunctions because the cells need you to operate properly. And so we can feel discomfort and we can feel out of sorts, but why label it something that we can't control? Call it cellular malfunctions because it is what? A self-organizing breakdown. You just broken your cells down to the point where they can't function where. And some part of you is not really acting correctly. And that could be your brain, your heart, your liver, your pancreas, your nervous system, your immune system, or you can look at actual parts of the body, your knees, your arms, your shoulders, your neck, your adenoids, your sinuses, because this is that time of the year where the body is beginning to purify itself. And we want to call it all kinds of colds and flus and things like that, when the body is really just trying to shake it off, like the trees is shaking off their old leaves, which don't even look old to you. But they know that they're old and it's time for it to become anew, because every part of your body renews itself on a daily basis. Come on, people, it's the 21st century. So are you living with sickness? Rename it. Give it a whole new name, a whole new vibration. So today, as part of my real life radio show, I'm up to episode 20. I'm in the process of having someone write a book about my life and my journey, moving from disease care to conscious self-health care, my choices, my understanding, and what it cost me in relationship to my family, and sharing my truths. And, my mother, she got to honor herself. My father, they got to honor themselves because they told us to tell the truth. If the truth hurt, let it be the damn truth that hurts you and not a lie that you keep up with. So just tell me the truth. And then they also let us have our choices of consequences too. And mine was always, I'd rather be punished. Keep me in the house, take the phone away, take the TV away. I love my imagination because that's what life is. Imagination is the truth of life. That higher consciousness, the higher realm of understanding. So I float with that and I stayed with that. And so I was a kid that when I did do something and I knew I had to choose my consequences, it was like, I'll take the punishment. I'll stay in the house, because I didn't mind tuning into myself. And so, I was raised with an older sister. And today I am going to share with you her story so that the ghostwriter of my book, see, what they're doing is they're listening to my real life radio show. I get to talk about myself as well as I meet with them. And they get to see the inner workings of me and what I share, and they're able to write a masterpiece from it. And so today they're looking at how I'm going to be talking about my relationship with my sister and healthcare and how I factored into her life and what that situation brought me as well. And so I want to thank you again for joining me. And as I share my journey, sit back and think about your journey. Think about the things that you have been doing. Think about your family lifestyle. Think about the patterns that's in your family's lifestyle, what you're holding on to, and what's keeping you in that state of feeling sick and diseased and a victim. And see if you can resurrect that frozen energy to move forward and flow like the fluids of life. Get rid of that stagnation and blockages. So I'm sharing the story of my sister, Saundra Walker. She's my older sister. She was 3 years older than I was. And so this should help you shift out of chronic disease care stress. We're talking about do not resuscitate a DNR. And a lot of people put that in place. Do not resuscitate. They tell their family members, I've been sick for a while. They say I have this debilitating disease. They say there's no cure for it. They've been telling me to manage it for years, and I'm getting worse and things are not getting better. And no matter what it is, a person's feeling more in pain. They're not feeling like they can take and still have control over their life and care for themselves and be responsible for their own being. And so, they decide that if that time comes when it looks like I can't take care of myself and the doctors come to you and they say, well, what do you want us to do now? And they already done told the person that there's nothing else that they can do for them, but they want you now to say the same thing. Then if they gave you the power of attorney, then you should honor their wishes. And sometimes it's hard. And it's not what everybody else wants you to do. And people get all emotions and put that emotions of a man-made mindset into reality and get you not able to do what that loved one wanted. Well, they didn't really mean that. They want you to do this. Don't do that because they can't let go. Well, I honor life and I honor what people ask me to do, no matter how seemingly hard it is. I'm not that person and I'm not living in that body. So if they ask you to do something, you're supposed to have enough strength that if you agree to do it, you are to do it on their behalf. And so a terminally condition or terminally illness is considered as irreversible illness. And if you've been up with the 21st century now, and you know a little bit about epigenetics, and you know about iatrogenetics, and you understand the power of pharmaceuticals, you will understand that people can reverse things now, but it's all about a mindset. It's all about a conscious and an understanding. And see, a lot of people in this day and time, they're not willing to accept responsibility. They don't want to say that I put myself in this situation and then get themselves out of it. They want to keep holding the doctor to it. They want to hold on to the fact of whatever has been told to them for centuries and years to keep them out of the picture. But I'm telling you, you are responsible for this holographic projection of your consciousness. This body is moving around and nobody's doing anything to it but you. Whoever you align with, you must follow the protocol. That's why I like what they say. You are the you in everywhere you go. And whatever you do, you got to agree to it. Sometimes you can wake up and move beyond that, and sometimes you cannot. And you rely on somebody else to help you move through it. You know, you got to understand that disease is a business. And them doctors are going to do anything they can. Because one thing I like, and I heard when I first came on Interlight Radio, there's a host, and I think her name is India. And I think that she hosts the Clean Machine. She is a colon hydrotherapist, a iridologist, and does a lot of things. But she wrote a book. I haven't had a chance to read a book, but I like the title. The body doesn't know how to die. The body is adaptable. Its only job is to keep functioning with your consciousness at your level and your awareness of understanding. It's always working to improve itself, to make adjustment, to reroute itself, to create a new pattern, a new process as to what you're saying. And see, Western medicine also know the body don't know how to die. But see, they study the body enough that they know how to keep it alive in any state, in any condition. But that's why you have to take responsibility of your health care. So we're talking about if that time comes and you see that your family has suffered for decades, for years, and they wish to die with dignity, and they need somebody else to do that. So I was talking about India Holloway. She's the host of the Clean Machine. She comes on every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. She has a book out, The Body Doesn't Know How to Die. I'm a colon hydrotherapist. I ran a colon hydrotherapist center for about 12 years in Washington, D.C. And it's very crucial to the body to purify the body. And so, again, the body is adaptable. You are not average. You are individuals. You should not try to fit yourself into a number that's given by a system for any part of your body or any part of your being. That keeps you a victim to them, trying to fit into some number, because that means that your body don't know what it's doing. That means you don't know what you're doing because you're in control of that body. So we have to reach a whole new reality, and that's what we come into bioenergetics and bio-informational medicine. Puts you back in control and understanding epigenetics. And yeah, you're hearing that word a lot because it takes you into quantum health and healing. The fact that you and your conscious controls this holographic being. And at the same time, we want to support somebody with dying with dignity. You want to feel good and you want to feel better. And we're talking about stepping up out of the dark ages of disease care. So once again, I'm Karen Khadijah Davis-Foulks, and this is my real life radio show. And I'm sharing my journey of how my life got flipped, turned upside down, inside out, based on my decisions to honor my mother. And even though she appeared to be that she knew what she was doing and understanding, it was a medical game that was playing with her that allowed other people to do different things about my mother's request. And so I sat back and I honored that, and I'm letting everything unfold. But in that journey, my mother always thought that the life that she had been living in, and when I was born in 1957 was when my mother was diagnosed with liver disease. and some other things. And so I know I'm 59 now, and she lived with it for 57 years of her issue. And she always thought that she would leave before her children. She was given that quote unquote diagnosis that now it can't be reversed. And she thought that she would leave. And, you know, the time just keeps lingering on and on and on when you're thinking you're leaving. But her oldest daughter happened to leave before she would leave. And I would be the one that would be involved with my sister's care. Even though she didn't get to the point where nobody cared for her, and she always took control of her life, she knew when that time came that her mother would not be able to let her go. And so I was there to honor my sister. And so, Jamal, get ready to do a commercial. I know we started a little bit late because once again, you know, the internet, the system does what it needs to do. I just wanted to make sure I introduce myself to people, what the show is all about. So I want you to sit back and relax, take a moment to think about your life and where you are in your health, where your loved ones are, and what you're going to be able to do to help them. And so we're going to take a commercial break, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to share with you about my beautiful, my wonderful, my gorgeous sister, Saundra Walker, and her journey in healthcare and how I helped her reach her goals.
Let's help one another.
Do you feel lost? Do you feel out of sync? Could it be that you are experiencing electromagnetic sensitivity? Yes, electromagnetic sensitivity. Could man-made frequencies interfere with cellular activity and melatonin production? We are beings of frequency, light, and information, and you are your own experience. Do not conform any longer to the patterns of man-made mindset of human consciousness. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Schedule your Nest Provision Human Body Field Scan with Dr. K, 202-248-7749. Visit the website forcelllife.com, the number 4, CELLLIFE.com. Have the courage to expand your horizon and reprogram your cellular activities. Call Dr. K for your 15-minute wellness consultation. 202-248-7749.
Community, oh, let's help one another. All of my sisters and my brothers. Come on, let's help one another. All of my sisters and my brothers. Let's show love. To forget that together we stand and divided we fall, all for one and one for all. Oh, let's help one another. All of my sisters and my brothers. Come on and let's help one another. Children, sisters and brothers. Let's put love in our hearts and get rid of hate.
Get rid of hate.
Understanding will be better if we communicate.
Communication. Please, Sam. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Talking about a little bit of help. And that's what I love, what I do. Health education for longevity and peace. The art of self-healing and self-help. The art is you, your body. Self-healing comes from you. Self-help, health education for longevity and peace. Is the information that you have now, is it outdated? Is it no longer serving you? Are you struggling? Are you trying to convince yourself to stay with it, to fit in, to follow your family, to follow your friends, to follow the preacher, to follow the teacher, to follow everybody else? But what's in your own heart? Because I'm telling you, it will vibrate higher than the man-made mindset of human consciousness, and it won't fit in to nobody around you. They will think your ass is crazy when you start talking about taking care of yourself and getting out of the norm. Not following any more about what they said, that old information. Because like I said, science giveth and science will take it away based on what they want to do and how they want you to respond. And it's time to raise your, I don't care what race, creed, or color you are. It's time to raise up and honor who you are. And I'm a person that did that. I'm not a rare individual, but I'm going to say I'm rare. I'm unique because you can say the same thing about you. That's why I say I'm a conscious self-healthcare educator. I'm the only one because I'm taking care of myself. And what works for me can work for you if that's the way you want to vibrate to, because I'm telling you, when you work with me, it's your consciousness. Life is a state of consciousness, how you look at it. And my sister looked at her life. She accepted her diagnosis at 17 years of age, that she would not live a long life. Somebody at 17 years old believing that, walking around with those little teeny inhalers, because she was told that her lungs would eventually go hard and wouldn't be able to sustain her. And she followed that process, and she honored the medical system, and she honored the religious system, and she honored all those things. But even though she broke away from that truth before it really took her out in a manner that she did not want to take for her own life. You know, she made her own decisions. And one thing that disturbed my mother and my family was that she did not let anybody tell her how to do it. And she did not let anybody come in and be involved in her care and how she was caring for herself. And she didn't come out and say to you, well, the doctor said this and I'm going to do that. She did none of that. She honored her life. She took care of herself. She didn't burden anybody else with it. Even though a parent want to know how they can help their child, I can still hear my mother on that day in September 30th saying she wouldn't let me help her. She wouldn't let me help her. She wouldn't let me help her. That was her life. It was her body. And she knew that she had to do it her way. And all I could do was sit there and listen. So I want to say adversity. Many lives are disrupted by tragic accidents, and even the most fortunate are subject to stress of various kinds. Yet such blows do not necessarily diminish happiness. It is how people respond to stress that determines whether they will profit from misfortune or be miserable. And I choose not to be miserable. I choose not to look at misfortune. I choose to be happy. So I really don't care how you look at me and what I've done and what I will do and how I take care of myself and how I honor the loved ones and what they wanted compared to what a doctor want to say that they can and cannot do. Because see, they play with your life. They understand the process of life and death. They understand how the circulatory system shuts down and able not to feed and honor and take care of the body. But they can stop that at any time. The same way they can stop a heart attack. They can try when they put you on that defibrillator and they try to pump. When they say a person have a heart attack, but really it's your circulatory system shutting down. And if you study with me the science of lymphology, you will understand the basic care of the human body and what they do to you and what's going on. But I want to honor my sister because I loved her so much, and she taught me a great deal about life. And whenever I want to think about her, I hear this beautiful soprano voice. She had a lovely singing voice, and she sung with such passion and such love. And you see, I had this hard alto and bass voice, and people told me I couldn't sing because my voice was so deep, and I believed them, and so I stopped singing. And she kept on singing her sweet Savannah voice, and I never will forget when she realized that she was getting weaker and weaker, and she called me when I was 40 years old, and she said, they told me I had to stop singing, that if I wanted to contain my lungs and oxygen and things like that, that I couldn't sing anymore. And she said, this is the last time I'm going to sing, and I want to sing you happy birthday. And she sung happy birthday to me, and that was the last time that she was able to sing or chose to sing so she could extend her life a little bit longer. than what they had projected. Because see, when you do so much and you hold on to that belief, not understanding as to what they say is true, your body will take on that form and your body will respond the same way. And that's why it's so important for everybody to understand epigenetics, that your body responds to your state of consciousness, to what you think, to what you feel, to what you say. That's how your cells respond and act, and that's how they perform. You are the key to this human body. And so she did everything she could, and she believed what they told her. And she did the medication. She did everything. But one thing she refused to do was she was not going to have a lung transplant. She was not going to have her lungs chopped off bit by bit by bit, thinking that that was going to save her. So she refused all of that. And she did the medication. She did the steroids. She blew up. She got heavy. She got fat. She got stuffed. Didn't like her body. She couldn't sing. She was sick. She couldn't perform. So she decided, I'm going to stop all the drugs. If I have this disease, I'm not doing drugs anymore because that's making me worse. So that was able to give her a longer sustainability of life, but she still held on to the understanding that she would go from this disease. And so the loss of a loved one, whether it's a young person, older person, whether they transition from violence like my brother did, death by disease like my parents did, a natural cause, which they said that my sister did, natural cause. My mother, they gave her the diagnosis of end-stage liver failure. My father, the end-stage kidney failure. They said that for them. It's still very hard to deal with. We miss having that person around, hearing their voice, seeing their face, and being in their presence. We long just to see and talk to them in the flesh, because energy never dies. It transforms themselves. And if you understand knowing thyself, you know that you're always in communication. You're always in communication through that higher self, that this body is just a projection, is an image that holds that consciousness. And so you never really lose a person, but we as humans, we just want to feel that person. We just want to touch that person. But I know how to go within myself, and I know how to bring that vibration up till I feel. And when I'm at that moment where I feel like I need the love of my family, because all my family is gone. When I feel like I need their strength, I can feel the flesh of them as real can get. And you can do the same thing too. So we don't have to mourn the loss of anyone. So it is my thought that I could bring some love and warmth to your heart and mind, as I have done this for me and my family. With the support of many, I have created the arc of self-healing and self-help, health education for longevity and peace. We want to educate the people to the possibilities of having a stress-free and disease-free life. For the betterment of mankind, we want to fill our hearts with joy, happiness, and peace. We want to help you move to a higher ground of consciousness, to take ownership of your life. I want you to shift out of the chronic disease, kid, stress, fear, resurrect that frozen energy, and remember, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn what you have been taught for so long. It's been a lie. And if anything, this so-called presidential election is showing you is all the facets of that, and how you cannot become a victim to what's happening, feel like you have no hope and feel lost, because it's your consciousness that's going to create your reality for you. 2013, I put a post up, and I try to do this every year on Facebook, because I use Facebook as a diary, because I never wrote a diary when I was young, because my mother always said, if you write a diary, somebody read it, you can't complain about it. If you write something you don't want anybody to read it, burn it. My sister had a diary. She used to go, Mom, Karen is reading my diary. And my mother said, well, put a lock on it, hide it, and she can't read it. You can't complain about it. Because when you write something out, so since my life was made so public, like I did something wrong by honoring my mother and my family members, I use Facebook. Put it in the face. My face, your face. I'm not ashamed of my life and what I decide to do. So I use Facebook as a diary. So my truth is out there, because I'm a conscious self-healthcare educator. How can I help you look at your consciousness if you can't see how I look through my life and deal my life with? So it's out there and it's real who I am. So one year I wrote that, and my mother said, there is not enough ways to express how much I miss her. The one who made me a woman, a mother out of me. I loved her abundantly. My mother loved my sister so much, and it hurt her to her heart that she couldn't help her. And even when that time came, my sister and her beautiful life and the way that she loved herself, and that last time she went to the hospital and they drained all that fluid off her lungs, she said that I would not go through this again. Because if I go through this again, I won't have no say-so. I won't be able to say, no, don't put me on anything. No, don't hook me up to any machines. That the love that my mother feel for me, that she would keep me here anyway, because that's a picture that we're used to. We're used to seeing people walking around with oxygen and struggling and having people care for them. If she couldn't have a quality life and she couldn't live with dignity, then she didn't want it. She brought into that belief. She lived a great life. My sister worked 2 jobs all her life. The Federal Reserve Board for so many years. She worked a double job at Safeway for 17, 18 years. She amassed a fortune knowing that she would not be here to enjoy it. She left this planet at 47 years old. She left this planet, and she left all that to her mother. She left a legacy for her mother, a home, money to take care of herself, and to retire when she left. She made sure her mother was taken care of, that she had a home and everything. And so when my mother made her transition and things didn't look right, I knew something wasn't right, because my mother loved her daughter. She would never have put her home in reverse mortgage. She would never have done anything like that. So I knew my mother's life was being played with by the medical system because of who I was and what I was able to do. So when that time came, my sister made the decision that she was not going to go back in the hospital because she may not make it out, because she understood what they told her, because she had refused to have a lung transplant. Any of that, she had been stopped the medication when that fluid was building up. And like I say, when you study with me, cellular ecology, the science of lymphology, you will understand what that whole process is all about. I only wish that I was anchored in my truth in 2011, because I was already studying cellular ecology. I just wasn't believing it because I was still in that man-made mindset of understanding. I just didn't want to believe what I knew. But my sister said, look, I don't want any more advice. I don't want any more information. I'm at peace with myself. And her favorite statement was, let all things be done decently and in order. And that's what she did. She let everything be done decently in order. And that last time that she had to go to her doctor, she asked her mother to take her to the doctor. And her mother was indecisive. She had to take her granddaughter somewhere, and she had to deal with her daughter. But she didn't think that she needed to go with her daughter. She felt that she needed to go with her granddaughter. So she said, Karen, you take your sister to the hospital. So I went to pick my sister up, and I was taking her to the hospital. She said, where's mother? Because, see, I called her mom, and she called her mother, because she was Miss Protocol. She was Miss Dignitary. She was Miss Manners. And I said, Mom. She said, call her mother. I said, you call her mother. I call her mom. She said, well, where's mother? I said, mother told me to take you to the hospital. She wanted mother because the doctor was going to let my mother know that this was the end, that if my sister did not have that lung transplant, that her time was near. And so her doctor said to me, it's been 20 years. I never met anybody. I really didn't believe she had a family. I really didn't think I thought she was really lying to us, because nobody has ever been here. Not one living soul. And here you are. Can you convince her that she need to do this? And I'm like, well, what is it all about? He going to tell me that it'll take a year for the process to do this and do that. I'm like, she can't even walk halfway down the aisle. She's on oxygen now. And you think if she said no, she said no. I can't convince her to do that. She said no. So she wanted my mother to know that that time was near, that the fluid was building up, and that she might not be here. But my mother didn't go. She sent me. So I knew what was going on. And when that time came, after she went into the hospital that last time, they drained all that fluid off her lungs, and the next time she wouldn't have a choice. And she didn't want anybody to keep her here, but she would not have quality and dignity of life. She didn't want anybody to take care of her. She didn't want to be laying over somewhere knowing that there was no hope of a recovery. Because when they say there's nothing else they can do, there's nothing else they can do. And then they want the loved one to be so emotional, and they're going to say, I don't care, cut their leg off. I don't care, put them on that. Just keep them here. And that person told you that they did not want that they have lived a quality of life. And my sister knew where I was in my state of understanding. And even though it hurt me to my heart, I had to honor her. So that morning when she realized
that she had made a decision that she was not going to go through that. People make a choice, and some people want to call it suicide. That's what they want to call it, assisted suicide and this and that. It's not suicide. You gave them a death sentence, and they decided that they didn't want to go out the way that you wanted them to go out, that they wanted to do something different so that couldn't happen. So when you at that stage, you get to make a choice how you want to go. And she made her choice that she wanted to die in her home, and that she did not want to be resuscitated, and she did not want to do anything for anybody to interfere with that process. So that wee hours in the morning, she called, had my niece call me to come to her house, not her mother, me. And when I got there, then called her mother. The ambulance was be there. They was upstairs doing their job, following their orders. It hurt me to my heart not to go upstairs and say goodbye to my sister. But if I intervened in that, if I went upstairs and said anything, they had to stop. So I had to sit there and not do that and let her wishes go through, because she did not want to be put in a home somewhere, mistreated. She had already stopped drugs from that system, and she didn't want anything. And so she did everything decently in order. She planned her services and everything. My sister lived a beautiful life, and I asked a brother, a prolific poet, to honor my sister with this poem. And when I realized that she was leaving and she sent me this beautiful card a year before she died, I wrote the poem, Life is Beautiful and Wonderful. It is never mean, cruel, or unkind. Because I asked the universe, how can you take somebody so loving, so warm, so gentle and do this? But I understood that it wasn't about the universe doing that. It was being in alignment. And that poem is in my book that's about to release. But as we're getting close to closing out the show, I just want to share with you the poem that honored my sister. I'm going to tell you something. My sister knew her life. She honored her life. She honored what she was doing, how she was doing it. And she wrote her program. She planned her own services. She knew what she wanted to wear. She did everything. We didn't have to do nothing but follow her orders that she laid out for everybody and how she wanted everybody to be and do. And so this poem honors my sister's life, and I want you to honor your life. And whoever's out there that's feeling sad and feeling remorse, and your family trying to make you feel shame about you honoring the loved one and doing what they wanted to do, I want you to know that I hold the space for you the same way I hold it for me. I'm with you. Honor what people want, no matter what anybody say to you, no matter what anybody care about you. Honor that person. Don't let the medical system tell you to do something against what they said they wanted when there's nothing else. Don't put them in that home over there, and that's not where they wanted to be, so they can practice and experiment and use them, and they come to you saying, there's nothing else we can do, when they already said that. That's why they over in that home. But they keeping them on them drugs, which keeping them alive, was stopping their body from dying. I heard a brother once say, they said, my mother, there was nothing that we can do. We put her in a home, and she struggled for 5 years trying to die. No, it was a medication keeping her alive, and they was using her. So people, you have to wake up and understand it's a new day, and nobody wants that anymore. There's a lot of kids out here right now that don't want that anymore. That's living on machines and going through a lot of surgeries, and they tell their parents, just let them go. They're tired of it. They don't want it anymore. And don't feel bad about it. Honor yourself. Don't be bullied by a system that's out for money. So this poem was written for my sister, Saundra C. Walker. We called her Peanut. A beautiful flower has been uprooted, transmuted to the next phase of life. A beautiful flower that had her bouts with struggle and strife, trials and tribulations. But she had no hesitation about living to the fullest. Her life reflections were built on caring, giving, and sharing. Sharing the lessons of life that one could look back on and say, that's what she meant when she said, I didn't let them make me do it anyway. Giving her all in whatever endeavor she was involved in, always with a grin, no matter with her or him. When they thought the light of life was dim, she brightened it up for them. Then they felt the flow of peace again, caring for all that she came in contact with, laying no blame for whatever circumstances they were in. Not even if you were living in sin, she would bend over backwards just to bring you around again. Man, I love my sister. She was just Saundra C. Walker, a beautiful spiritual flower, an elegant speaker, and a stylish walker. lived a full life. She wanted us to know her spirit is here to help us continue to grow. And that's what gives me strength to keep doing what I do because of her life. Just look at the examples she left for us. Just reflect as you will remember them. One more thing. This beautiful flower wanted us to know before she had to go. She had a long talk with her Lord before she took her spiritual flight. I have all my affairs in order and the people in place to deal with my case, so let me lace up my spiritual shoes, cause in your bosoms, how can I lose? This poem was written by Humama Malik, or my sister Saundra C. Walker, and I'm telling you, she honored her position in life. She honored the medical system, and when they could not take care of her, she released it, and she just took care of herself, and she lived a gorgeous life. I mean, she had a beautiful voice. I can still hear my sister sing in my head, and it holds my heart, and it helps me keep moving forward, and it helps me anchor. When I tell you, learn cellular ecology and learn how this body works, and you will never be a victim to anybody. Learn cellular ecology, and that's why family, community, friends, can't nobody tell me shit about how to take care of my body and what I'm doing. I honor myself. I honor my knowledge. I honor who I am. And I honor what I did for my mother. And that's what this show was all about now. Because the medical establishment didn't like the fact that when they wanted to shut my mother down and put her somewhere, I said, no, reverse it, take it out. And I share that story in a book that's going to be released this November, 100 Voices, Inspiring, Empowering You. I tell that story, and I'm anchored in that truth because of my sister Saundra Walker, because of how she lived her life and how she wanted to die with dignity, that she did not want to be in a home. And if your family members tell you they don't want that and the doctors don't honor that, you make them honor that. Don't let them become a victim to the system, and don't you become a victim to the system. Disease is a lie. It's a lie. It's cellular malfunction that you can correct at any time. And I don't care if you're in 4th stage, 5th stage, 26th stage. You change your consciousness and you will change your life. So I want to tell you, it's time to feel good, to feel better, and stop being a victim and resurrect that frozen energy in your body. It's just stuck with your own consciousness of being stuck. Don't be afraid. Don't care what nobody have to say to you. Live your life. Honor yourself. Love yourself. Tune in to yourself and value yourself, because epigenetics is real and the actual genetics is real. Death by doctors, they say that's number 3. I'm telling you, it's number 1. It's a disease care system, and break away from it and honor yourself. And that doesn't mean that you dishonor them and you dishonor anybody else. That just means that you are honoring your life. Saundra so loved the Lord, our Father, that among many things that she did was she was a director of children's church at Peace Baptist Church. Saundra loved children, and she wholeheartedly believed that when you raise up a child in the right way, that child will be productive members of society. Saundra thought that all children should have a goal in life, and she wrote, setting a goal for ourselves. Well, in order to do that, you must know yourself and what direction you want to pursue. If you live this life long enough, we will run across many people who will draw their own ideas of what and who they think you are. But the ultimate and most important thing is who you know you are. Set it and do not deviate from it. She set her goals. She set her journey. She met them. She lived a beautiful life. She left a legacy for her mother, for her daughter, for her sister, for her godchildren, for her nieces. She left my mother a home that the government took, because I let them take it, because you're not going to sit there and do what you wanted to do to me in that home. Because my mother would never have put her daughter's house in reverse mortgage, because she loved her daughter too much to do that, knowing that she was sick all of her life, and she still amassed that fortune. So I know something had occurred. My mother was upset with me because I had to tell her that my sister made a choice, that she did not want to be here that way, and that she wanted to die in her home, and that's why I was there first, and my mother had to come second, because she knew my mother would stop that process. I sat there and I didn't stop it, and my heart hurt. And my niece was 7 years old, and she had my niece call and start that process. I'm telling you, community, honor your loved ones. Don't put them over in a system where the doctors can do whatever they want to do to them and you have no control over it. It's a new day and it's a new time, and it's Conscious Self-Health Care Hour. So take a moment and tune into yourself. And I thank you so much for tuning into Heart to Heart Healthy Living. Visit my website, ConsciousSelfCare.com, ConsciousSelf care.com. Visit me on Facebook, Karen Davis-Foulks, Foulks. Join the group, Lymphatic Wells, and step up to a new understanding, because I'm going to tell you something. The International Academy of Lymphology, they are the only ones that's telling you the truth about how to heal your body. And that truth from Dr. West that was done almost 80, 90 years ago is being shown today by Bruce Lipton, Jim Oshman's, Lynn Tagman. All these people in quantum health and healing is telling you how to take care of your physical body and not stay a victim. False education accepted as reality, false evidence appearing real. It's time to resurrect that frozen energy and feel good about it. So as we close out and we tune back in next week, sit back, take a view, look at your life, feel good, feel better.
You don't have to change your way for them to accept you, child. If you do, let it be for you. Make them respect you, child. You're beautiful, amazing, like a fire in disguise. You are blazing. I hope you don't let this world put your fire out. Go ahead and be great. Go ahead and do you. Go ahead. No matter what you do, my love, please don't be a people pleaser. You don't have to follow them, just make them follow you. You don't have to be a bad person and trust your instincts too. See, you're beautiful, so amazing, like a fire in disguise. You are blazing, and I hope you don't let this world put your fire out. Go ahead and be great. Go ahead and do you. Go ahead. You've got to get started somewhere, somehow. Right on. Where, right on. Why don't you ride on? Ride on the friendship train. Said you might as well ride on. Ride on the friendship train. You know when you think of no better place.
Thank you for listening to Heart Healthy Living. Wow. We had a great time. And thank you for joining us and sharing this radio show with a friend. Now tune back next week, Tuesday, from 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. We invite you to visit ConsciousSelfCare.com, ConsciousSelf care.com, and join the Conscious Self-Health Care movement. Health is consciousness and healing is a function of consciousness. You have a God-given right to choose your pathway to healthcare and wellness. I'm Karen Khadijah Davis-Foulks, and tune in next Tuesday, Heart to Heart.
Everybody get on.